Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Talking Stick Show. So I'd like to welcome the guests this evening. We have the not so crazy Laura Massey.
Hi there, everybody.
Hello, Laura. And we have the not so crazy Amy Kruzic.
Hello, everyone.
And we have the not so crazy David Ellis joining us. Hello, David.
What? Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is David. Hi.
We've just been having a lot of fun in the background, just having funny stories about craziness and what type of crazy people there are out there. We had Andrew just come in to talk about some crazy as well. So let's kick this show off. We're going to be talking about how to deal with crazy people. And at the last half of this, we'll be doing call-ins as well. So I'd like you there listening to start putting in the chat your crazy stories and as well what type of people there are out there who are crazy. So, Laura, do you want to take us away with what does crazy mean?
You're not grounded in this reality, honestly. You're creating a delusional reality of your own that you want to generally suck everybody else into. And I suppose the sad thing is, in some ways, the crazies really seem to believe their own reality, and they're certainly creating it, but they believe that almost that their view is the only view and their way is the right way, and you have to fit in with that. There's a bit of Karen within crazy as well, because Karens obviously can be quite crazy. So it is very much based on that one way. The only way is my way, and you need to fit into that. And it's almost, in some extremes, it's almost I will stomp and I'll scream until you do that. And I will really insert myself into your energy field until I get the result that I want. And it's very difficult to deal with sometimes when you have that in your life or on the internet in the form of trolls or any other form.
So it sounds like a narcissist. It's a really good way to put it, isn't it?
Yeah.
A classic narcissist.
Amy,
what's
psycho.
Your take on crazy? There's so many words.
Yes. Well, I agree with Laura on that one. Plus, I think that they have no other perspective except their own. And they can't see different ways to deal with different things. And also, I believe that they cannot read other people's expressions. Like, when you give them the big eyes, like they just can't read it, and they just keep going and going. It's like almost like they're in a tornado and they just keep going and can't get out of it. I've experienced that in school time and, with parents and, so yeah.
And those crazy people, they just don't listen. They cannot listen to actually the words you're saying. There's no slowing down where they're actually, I'm trying to understand what you mean here. Oh, I appreciate what you're saying. There's none of that. It just goes through them straight away, then straight back again.
It does. And I believe that they go out of their body. Like, it's like they just go, you can just see them. It's like they can't even reason with you. They can't look at you in the eyes. They just can't. I don't know what it is, but they just can't.
Well, that's where they're not grounded in this reality. See, that's where they have gone, and they're not their sovereign I am self, their authentic self, unless their authentic self is crazy, and then that's another story.
You got So, Mr. Ellis, so what's your take on crazies?
Well, I fancy myself a connoisseur of crazy. Between Andrew and myself, we've tasted every kind of crazy that there is out there. Like the craziness level is usually very high. I made a little list of the different kinds of crazies that are out there to this, there's the delusional crazy, which is what Laura mentioned, the passive aggressive crazy, the good old fashioned crazy, narcissistic crazy, which was also mentioned, far out man crazy. Far out, the conspiratorial crazy, and then there's creepy crazy, because the creepy crazy is
what was the last one?
Level. What
was the last one you cut out?
The creepy crazy.
Creepy crazy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Let's not forget those.
I see Karen T wrote something in there that crazy is often a result of trauma. Yeah, and we've all had traumas. right? And it's taking that personal responsibility when you realize to come to you don't need to be that way. You don't need to be that crazy.
So from that point of view, it could be choice. Would that be fair to say, David?
Oh, yes. There's a certain amount of choice in crazy, unless you are clinically crazy, which some people actually genuinely are. If you are wearing a tinfoil hat, you're crazy.
Yes.
That would be one. There's a number of other signifiers. You have to distinguish between behavioral problems and people who are genuinely like losing the plot, so to speak. So honestly, I think that when you're talking about people who are crazy, we're dealing with the behavioral people, like the people who get into your space and you could just feel the crazy coming off of them. Okay, like too much.
Oh, they're ready to dump it all over you. Yeah.
Correct.
Dale, what's your definition of crazy?
I'd say someone who's lost their own signature frequency, someone who's lost their inner knowingness of who they are and the ability to actually listen from the heart, actually listen to people. I'd say crazy from my own experience is full-on narcissism. There's a lot of trauma connected to crazy as well. A lot of people go through trauma, then they kind of form the narcissistic personality and they become shit crazy. So as well as it does happen in trauma, I've seen it in my own eyes, that someone I've been with for a long time just kind of turned around and started acting very strange and completely detached from themselves, and that was through trauma. So I've seen so many levels of crazy. I've seen people who are obsessed with people, like want to fall in love with spiritual teachers, obsess over them.
The golden baby.
The golden baby. Want to have babies, will do anything to be by their side, or just start sending fucking crazy messages. Or someone who comments on a post and they commented like 50 times, or the post on a wall and just keep posting. You're like, some of the comments don't even make sense anymore. It's like they've got lost in their own delusion of the self. Right? It's like they're speaking to some imaginary false friend or something.
Yes. Yeah. There's so
He's
much
not there.
What about the crazies that get ensnared in their own delusion? So I kind of like to play things out, so because people are getting lost in what we're talking about. So this is person A and this is person B. Hi, hello. That's a mighty nice woolen sweater you have on. Person B. Fashion is a construct of the demon Maya. Clear your minds. You absolutely must just stay away from all this illusion. Wow. Well, that's a pretty short conversation we just had. And he walks off. That's what we're talking about. People are just get too serious with this nonsense. A lot of spiritual people get ensnared in the spirituality and they can't be normal people anymore. You see Dale, Laura, Amy, and myself, we're being normal people. We're laughing at stuff. If everything that comes out of your mouth is some super serious spiritual concept, you're moving into crazy territory. You're moving into crazy territory. You can be a normal person if nobody's inviting you out to dinner. So it's like family, okay? Like the people that live in your house, please don't come to dinner.
So, David, I want to share a story because you've just twigged the memory here. So when I first started into the like metaphysical spiritual journey, this was about 11 years ago. I went to my first spiritual fair and I helped a lady selling stuff, and there were these people walking around, and there was this lady with a pendulum, and she just like floating around. She comes up to me, and this is the first spiritual crazy I ever met. And she started swinging the pendulum, and she looked at me and goes, "I'm a Reiki master, you know." And I was like, "Well, we've got these, we've got these." She goes, "Oh, I don't care what you've got. I'll be able to figure this out on my own." Like full on going around with the pendulum to each crystal, ignoring the person who was in front of them. She looked at me like I wasn't there or didn't give a fuck about me. And I was just like, "You're fucking batshit crazy, aren't you?"
Can you imagine going to this lady's clinic? Don't speak to me. Just lie down on the table. All right.
I just want to say that you can have like temporary crazy. So I would say I've had temporary crazy
Tell us
A
about
little
that.
bit crazy in my light worker days.
Yes.
I have,
Laura, let's hear
yes.
it.
So no, nothing big, but like sort of impinging on their journey a bit. So I was doing some work on the sacred site. I've said this on a show before, I'm sure. And some guys were walking across the sacred site, and I said, "It's okay. You're fine to walk across this sacred site because I've done lots of work here, and you'll be blessed."
Laura.
Now that is. I can look back now and laugh, but that's egotistical and all the other stuff, isn't it? That's all that going on there, and being too earnest and too serious. And some level of batshit crazy was there as well. But I have obviously learnt from that.
I want to see that on video. Oh Jesus!
Oh,
I want to see that on
that's
video.
priceless. Oh.
I'm sure that's not the only time I've done something like that.
What about these people?
I used to spin.
You should do what?
Spin.
I used to spin. I used to do Palladian spinning. That's the level of crazy.
Deal with any problems she ever had. She did the spinning. Show David what it is.
I can't. I'd have to get up. You've got to spin 60 times clockwise, and then stand there and let the energy form a vortex. And I used to do that every night till I fell over. Banged into furniture. So, believe me, when we're taking the mickey here, it's also because some of us, obviously not these three, obviously just me, has been somewhere on that level of crazy.
Laura, we are all moving into your house.
Yeah.
Just to watch you.
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
don't do it now,
hilarious to look at. Okay. Honestly, I here's the thing with regard to crazies. Some of them are covert crazies. Like what you said earlier, Dale. You don't know that they're crazy until you actually interact with them, and you're like, "Oh, goddamn! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!" Right? You don't know that they're crazy until you interact with them. So, as an example, Andrew and I were interacting with some individuals earlier on this year. Okay, and people don't show themselves up as crazy until something triggers their demons. I believe that we all have demons. It's how you allow, whether you allow your demons to overtake you. Okay. Now, if you have a grip on reality, you will say, okay, maybe I shouldn't go around the place telling everybody I've healed the land. Okay. Because Amy and I have a little running joke between the two of us, and I want to introduce it to you guys. Poof! No one cares. No one cares. Okay, right. And when this concept of poof, no one cares. Listen to me. I do spiritual practices. Laura, you do spiritual practices. Amy and Dale. We don't make an announcement to the entire population. I've done spiritual practices, everybody. Look at what I've done. Nobody can.
We've got a crazy on.
We've got a crazy on.
Crazies are on.
This is imposter of Andrew.
Crazy cam here. Okay. Dale's in shadow, I'm in hood.
Yeah.
In this we should have dressed up for this.
It appears my session did not show up, so I came in here. I gave them 10 minutes, and that was it. Reschedule link. So here I am. Have fun with my crazies.
Yes.
So
You're in the right place.
We're just talking about spiritual crazy, and Dave was talking about the crazies who don't seem crazy until you get to know them, and you're like, holy shit.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Andrew,
a lot of those.
Andrew, why don't we talk about the healing crazies? Because everybody's a healer until something triggers them. Now, Andrew, we've seen a lot of crazy people. We have. We got conspiratorial crazies and so on. People who they seem okay. They're doing their job. They're doing the stuff or whatever else, but all of a sudden, things just snap. I don't know if you guys have experienced this in the last 5 months. the crazy level has gone out of hand. Oh,
I think everyone in the audience has experienced this, David.
Everybody's going crazy, left, right, and center.
You did talk about this on a show, didn't you, Andrew? About how crazy it's going to get. Yeah, with everything going on in the
February 2023. How crazy shit was going to get, and crazy was going to make crazy look crazier.
Yeah, you said the Three Stooges show.
It was the 3 stages of crazy for 2023.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well,
There's crazy, and then hold my beer crazy, and then hold my bottle of champagne crazy.
It's kind of funny because we were talking about how to deal with crazy. Well, I have a list. So you want to go by the list? Delusional. How do you deal with delusional crazy?
You don't. I just had one on the show the other day that called up and had a 4.5-inch tumor under her breast, and she was touring South America, found herself a place to die, and was calling in and wanted me to approve her to die. I wanted me to give her all the spiritual laurel, and I wasn't going to.
So this lady as well, every time Andrew tried to speak to her, she just butted in and she just wouldn't let him talk. And it was just gobble delusional stuff just coming out. It was on the last show, if you want to go back and listen to it.
So anybody else that's going to call in, if your demon or something is telling you to call in and approve you to die, I'm not going to approve you to die on the
No,
show.
Andrew. Let's take all the funny callers because this is going to be a fun show. Passive aggressive crazy. You know what passive aggressive crazy is?
Oh yeah.
That barbed comment.
It's like, look at all these people. They clearly haven't understood the concept of spirituality, right?
Well, they're faux spiritual. They fold and fall as soon as the slightest spirit wind hits them.
Yep. What about the good old-fashioned crazy? And we're talking about people who just snap out of the blue because they have something running them that they don't.
Like explosive rage people?
Road rage?
Yes.
Road rage, explosive rage. There's what you say Trump is this or Trump is good or bad, and they explode on you?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a hilarious video. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it of this guy. He's stopping at a traffic light, looks like New York, and there's a guy who walks in front of his car with a dog, and the guy swears at the guy really pissed off, and he hits his head on a lamppost straight after. So the guy gets really angry for no reason and starts swearing at this guy, and he walks, and he's looking, he turns and smashes this lamppost.
Yeah, I see that one. That was actually very, very pleasing to me.
Yes, that is one of my favorite. That one.
What about the narcissistic crazy? You know the type.
Oh, we deal with them all the time. The ones that no matter what, you must obey their healing. Like, you didn't hold me enough, or you didn't let me vent on you all the time, 24/7, 365. Mr. Narcissist or Miss Narcissist, I am not your punching bag. Okay? I'm here to help you grow. And when you choose to attack the people that are healing you, we aren't going to heal you anymore. We're not going to help you. We're going to cut your ass off. Bye-bye. Get the fuck out.
And you give people so much time and effort as well, and like obviously people who come on the show, they turn on you, and they actually uncover who the true self is, and they just start attacking you, and time and time
you become the devil to them, literally.
Yes.
Let's give a real story. I got an email from a lady who was part of Andrew, your mentorship class some years ago.
Yep.
And she was talking about that she has psychic skin lice. And every time she leaves the house, her anus burns.
She was not a mentorship student. Never was.
Oh, she wasn't? Okay.
No, she wasn't. She was just a listener that listened all the time.
Every time she leaves the house, her ass burns. I'm like, I can't help you there. I don't have any rituals for
You forgot the raping every night by the lizard people.
Oh God.
Yeah. We call those the far out crazies because you far out. People get
So
into
David, you don't
spirituality.
remember the Q. You don't remember the Q times where there was a whole Q crazy. The Q conspiracy crazy. That was a whole different level of crazy. The reason I came back on in between sessions is I need to hear the role playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're coming.
Let's
We're
do
going
it.
to do that. Can I just go on, Dale? Go on.
Just quickly, there's those people who you have in sessions and they think they've got a demon, but they don't. It's just themselves haunting the shit out of themselves. And you're like, you don't have a demon. You don't have anything around you. It's you who's the issue. And they actually externalize their parasympathetic programs as the demon. And they always just say it's the demon or the AI.
Right. It's because of paranoia, etc. Yeah, all that's a cycle to get there. But 99% of the time, it's not an actual demon in you or a ghost in you. It's something you created. And I've stated that in my teachings since 2012 and 2013. But unfortunately, when it comes to crazy, there's a 0 to 60, like a muscle car race. And there are those that do it in 10 seconds and do it in 2 seconds. Lamborghini versus Ford.
And just to bring up something in the chat, a couple of people have said this about being sad. Yes, I can understand what you're saying about it being sad, but sad is not going to be an energy that actually helps any of this or helps the situation with the crazies. And it's not going to give you the boundaries you need for these people. Because sometimes whatever you do, you just can't help these people, can you?
No.
If they're like the lady on the show last week, if she's not going to listen, and there were 3 or 4 of us speaking to her, then there's little else you can actually do. And so initially it's sad, but if you've done everything that you can do for that person, you actually have to step back and detach from it, because otherwise you get drawn in emotionally. Have you guys got anything to say on that?
Yeah, well, that's my experience of that as well, is that some crazies get to the point where you even try and rationalize with them, but it's all your fault. Every single thing you say is your fault. Even if you try and just...
Which is the narcissist programming defending them.
Yes, and it's impossible. No matter what you say to them, they will try and twist and bounce. And there's a good way, which Andrew's recommended to me a lot, is writing letters, but writing them in the right way.
So that person that called in last week about wanting to die sent a comment to the webpage that was like 5 paragraphs long, trying to validate why she was choosing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just erased it at that point, because I'm not going to give that any validation whatsoever. Yes. I said on the show, your mission isn't done. You're not allowing anyone any time to mourn with you or to go through the death cycle with you. You are doing wrong. And she didn't want to hear that. Didn't want to hear that.
There was a kind of sense of proudness within her, that what she was doing.
That spite. It's called spite.
Yes. Yeah.
So who would like to be my healer?
All of us are going to be.
Let us all be a healer.
All of us.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to ingest all the crazy into myself, and you guys can help me, right?
Yes.
Laura, let's start with you. Knock, knock, knock. I'm in your office.
Oh, Lord.
Come in, David. How are you today?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I wasn't loved enough as a child. Like I don't think my parents are really my parents. I think they're imposters. You know, I was reading this article on the net, and it said that there are lots of lizard people. I think my parents are lizards.
Okay, so have you got any proof of that then?
Well, they eat a lot of nasty stuff, right? And I hear them whispering in the kitchen, and I just think that they're in this cabal of evil people. And he just recently bought like a Tesla. Okay, my dad, he bought a Tesla, and you know how lizards hate heat, right? So it's like he's just not my dad. Like, I feel more connected to you, Laura. Like, I feel like he could have been my mother in a past life, you know? Right? I find myself thinking, I just want you to hold me and make me feel better.
Well, I wonder if, David, if you'd like to sit over there, I wonder if there's a chance that you could be imagining some of this.
Well, I thought I was imagining it, but like I woke up like 2 days ago and my mother was just standing by the door looking at me. Uh, she doesn't like me, okay? She doesn't like me because she knows like I'm a light bringer, and she wants to stifle the light, okay? She wants to stifle the light in me. And so I just figured I would just come to you because I know like you're a light worker and I'm a light worker. I just want to be like you, you know? I know you just want to be a light worker just like you.
So David, when's the last time you had a job?
A job.
Yeah.
I thought about getting a job, but I don't want to work in that in all of that kind of like this society, this cabal that's controlling society. I don't want them getting into my mind, you know. I can't have them getting into my mind, you know. So I thought about doing the job, and I applied, and then they started asking me questions, and I just think that my parents sent them to ask me those questions, and I left.
How are you able to pay for these sessions?
Oh, my dad pays for them.
Is there not love there?
No, I think he's just paying for them to get me out of the house, really.
Mm.
Mm.
Who pays for your bills?
How long are you in the house for?
What is it?
Do you even leave the house?
No, I have my room in the basement.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
How much time do you spend on social media?
I don't know. It varies. I don't know. I found you on social media, so I just figured that social media is a nice place to be. I mean, like, when I joined that guy, that David's guy, his UCM community, I joined, and yeah, cool.
Didn't you get kicked out of that community?
Yeah, I did. But that's because my father called him and told him to kick me out. That's why.
So everyone's against you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
So if everyone's against you, how can we help you?
Like I feel alone in the world. I feel like everybody's jealous of my light because I'm a really powerful being, and I see things. You know, I see things around people and stuff.
So if you have a natural psychic skill, you should be doing self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery. Have you tried any of that?
You know, what do I need to heal from? It's they that need to heal. Those lizard people and so on, they need to heal. They need my help. They don't
It's how
know
you
that they
could
need
protect
my
yourself from the lizard people. The journey to self-healing, self-mastery, commitment, courage, discipline, all those things that people do to get themselves out of tough times.
help. Did my father talk to you?
No.
Are you sure? You're sounding a lot like my father.
If you had been listening to this show, you would know that would be coming.
Mm.
Oh.
So, do you really listen to this show, or did you just see live call-in and decided to call in and present who you are?
Well, usually I have like two screens running. I have your show and I have this lady. I think she talks to fifth dimensional beings and stuff. And so like I watch them side by side, and like I just kind of like watch the replays and stuff. And
hey, I have a question for you, David. Can we go down another way? Can I ask you what you fear the most?
I guess being kidnapped by aliens and being anally probed or something. I guess.
Has that happened before?
No, because I bought this foil blanket. It like insulate the heat, and they can't get me when I'm under the foil blanket. Their systems can't scan me underneath the foil blanket. So I sleep with the blanket over my head, and I have my my iPad, and so they can't get to me.
You're not answering my question.
What?
What do you fear the most in your
I
life?
feel kidnapped by aliens because they're jealous of my light and they want to like take my light out of my ass by anally probing me.
I think you're avoiding. Are you avoiding life, David?
No, not really. I mean, I try to join. I join things. I talk to people. I go on social media. Like I was just on Andrew's page commenting on his show, and letting them know that.
When was the last time you interacted with someone other than your family?
The pizza delivery guy.
You guys, today with you guys.
No. I'm talking human contact.
Like
Human contact.
in person.
Yes.
That interview I went to a few weeks back, but then they started asking me personal questions. Like they asked me like, where do I see myself in 5 years from now? And I'm like, that's a lizard question. I know that's a lizard question. They want to know whether I can see the future, and that's why they asked me that question. That's obviously why they asked me that question.
Are you listening to your answers? Are you listening to what you're saying? Do you think that is in our reality right now?
Yes, I could totally see the future.
So, David, you think your appearance of bright blue hair, nose rings, and face tattoos has an effect on people?
What does that mean?
Do you think people look at you differently because you have bright blue hair, nose rings, and face tattoos?
I think, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's their reality. My thing is that they're jealous of my light more often than not. They're jealous of all the light I have inside. Like I have so much light. It's like an ocean of light. It's like when I go out, like.
Is that why you dyed your hair blue?
No, I dyed my hair blue because I saw it on an anime. I watch anime.
Can I ask a question? So when did you start getting into all this lizard stuff? When did you first hear about the lizards? How old were you?
Well, I think I was like in school, and there was this kid, and one day the sun came through the class, right? And I swear it hit this kid, and his shadow looked just like a lizard. Okay, like his shadow, like he had a full lizard look, like he had like big eyes and everything, and then I went on the net and I researched it, and I came across a couple of guys who were talking about these lizard people, right? And I'm like, that is so true. Oh my God, that is so true.
All right, so let's take a pause here on the role play. Who always met a person like this?
Yes.
Physically met. I have.
Mm-hmm.
People in the chat room that have been asking questions, talking about this, loving this, wanting to know how many of you met people online or physically like what David is, blue hair or not.
No.
Let me just brush back my hair.
The reason I'm asking this is, can you truly deal with this type of person? The answer is no.
No.
You can't.
No.
It's impossible,
when
really.
calling into my show, what do I end up doing, guys?
I'm saying if they're not going to listen, you can't help them.
Yeah.
Now I say self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery.
Yeah.
And go on to a journey of repeating what to do and then say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because that is the only thing that will ever actually have a chance of helping them out of where they're at, short of medication.
Mm-hmm.
Cece, you're saying no, you've never met anyone like that. Come on. Bullshit. Let's go on Facebook.
Yes, Sarah's right. You do say that. I got to let you go, darling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do say that.
So, David, can we play the spiritual narcissist next, who never heals from their trauma? I really think this.
Well, I don't really think I could do that, because I think it's demeaning of y'all to take spirituality in such a frivolous light. This is serious business we're talking about. You understand?
Yes.
And so, if you were really doing the work, if you were like me and doing the work every day, we wouldn't be having this show. Absolutely not. We wouldn't be.
So, David, what does looking the work look like? Doing the actual work, what does it look like for you?
It looks like staying within your own power, grounding yourself in the universality, accessing the unlimited point of view. It looks like being your own power and getting the light out. That's what it means. Okay? There are lots of people that are lost in darkness. And we as spiritual leaders are the ones that are going to take them out of darkness. Right? Like all these people in the chat right now, I will take you out of darkness.
How can you take people out of darkness if you're always generating darkness around you?
Because the only way out of darkness is when they see the light, they'll move towards the light. And when they actually see the light, people tend to be like moths to a flame. They will come towards the light and see the unlimited point of view. Because living in darkness is a kind of pain, okay? And so because you're in pain, I feel the need to let you know. And I mean all of you on this panel here. You, Amy, you, Laura, Dale, you, like you literally in darkness, Dale. You need to get a ring light, right? Right? Like all of you who live in darkness, you like, well, Amy, I don't know, with that purple wall behind you, who knows?
Yeah.
All of you live in darkness, and what you need to do is just open your hearts and your mind to more possibilities, right?
Just for a second.
Get rid of ego.
Just for a second here, can we try a technique? I want you to focus at a time where you were, let's say, 5 or 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on in your life then?
As a 5 and 6 year old child, what did I see? Mommy and daddy were always fighting about some nonsense because they also lived in darkness, right? They couldn't see the light of what they were missing my light, right? They were missing my light, okay? But I could have helped them, but I was too small at the time.
Do you regret that?
No, because it helped me shine brighter on my own as a sovereign being.
Would you say that shaped who you are today?
I think it had a part to play in it, but you know, now that I grow up, I think it had a part to play in it. But now that I've grown, I realize that the only way out of darkness for everyone is the light. Okay.
So your way is the only way?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my way is the only way. I think the light is the only way. The light.
So you're still saying there's an absolute, there's only one way in the unlimited point of view. How does that function?
Well, here's the thing. In order to see the unlimited point of view, you're going to need light, right? Because if you're in darkness, you can't see the unlimited point of view because you're blinded by the darkness.
But people go through dark nights of the soul all the time and have a limited point of view and get a glimpse of the unlimited point of view and find their way out.
Yes, but Andrew, when they go into the dark night of the soul, the only reason, what the dark night of the soul, I think you've totally misunderstood the dark night of the soul. Let me explain it to you.
I don't think you need to explain it. This is my show, and I'm not going to let you run the show because this is not spiritual care and coaching. Now, I wish I could say that in a live show, and I may have come close to it a few times, but
listen to me. Let me explain the dark night of the soul to you. It's like when you are so deep in darkness, you can see a little spark of light that's inside of you. And then when you look at the small spark of light, you see the unlimited point of view.
Hey guys, I got to run. I got to go do my next session. All right, great talking to you.
That was great fun. Thanks, Andrew.
Hello. You see, it's that darkness that we're talking about. You're in right now. Right? We're on the show like that. What the hell?
Well, David, my final piece of advice for you is at some point in time, your unlimited point of view has to focus solely on you for an extended period of time to discover you're the issue. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Oh, this was fun.
So I've got a question for you. So, do you think, why do you hide behind the light all the time?
I don't hide behind the light. I am the light. I am the light. I am the light.
I think
David, do you ever laugh? Do you laugh, David?
Laughter is a sign of ignorance. The only reason why people laugh is because they're hiding in the darkness. It's easy to laugh at the darkness because it hides the insecurity that you have of facing the light, the truth of who you are. Do you? I'm even sick of it in my own self. Jesus Christ. The truth of who you are.
do you take yourself serious, David?
Everyone should take themselves. This is serious business, Amy. Everyone should take themselves seriously. I don't understand. Like, I listen, I crave the light so much. I have one ring light for my light. I got a second ring light for my light. I got like one ring light here as well, right? And I have a light above me as well. And then there's natural sunlight. It's all about the light, baby.
Wow.
So do you think you... Go on, Dale.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Have you ever laughed at yourself, David?
Why would I do that?
Don't you not find any humour in yourself?
Absolutely not. I am a very serious individual about the light.
Would you ever Sorry.
Go ahead.
Would you ever describe yourself as humble?
Yes, I'm totally humble. I'm a servant of the light.
Are you self-deprecating?
No, because I am joined with the light. Next.
Oh.
Can I ask a question here? Do you undergo galactic special missions?
Absolutely. I go on galactic special missions every week.
No, Dale.
The number of times that I've saved the earth has been I go through so much, Dale. I need to tell you about my war stories. Like just last week, I was in a psychic fight with Andrew Bartzis, right? He came into my dream space, and he tried to strike me with a psychic baseball bat, and then he said, like, and he tried to strike me with a psychic baseball bat. And when that didn't work, he sent like little psychic, like they're like little insectoid things, and they were trying to crawl all over me and so on. And I was like, and then all of a sudden I suited up and I buffed up my aura, and they all fell off.
Oh, okay.
I thought nothing could get to you. I thought you were bulletproof and had spaceship armory.
I'm a servant of the light. I try not to let my light shine too brightly, but when I'm attacked, I just put on like this armor of light, this super soldier armor of light, and then I just let it burst out.
Why do you want
everything? It turns everything to dust, and then I vacuum up the spiritual dust, and I the spiritual garbage. I have a little garbage can right here for that.
Why do you want to be
Go on, Amy.
No. Why do you want to be a servant? Why? Servant.
We're all servants of the light. The light is the one truth, the all truth, the all-knowing truth, the unlimited point of truth. The light is all of those things. We are part of the light. We are therefore servants of the light. It is not servitude. It is coexistence with the light. We are light beings in and of ourselves. And because we are of the light, we are the light. So it is both servitude and expansion at the same time. We are the slaves and the masters. We are everything because it's an unlimited point of view. So we could be slaves and masters at the same moment, in the same time stream, or in different time streams. It depends on what we're talking about. Because the word salad that I like to use.
Can I ask you something? With everything that you know, because you seem to know everything, do you go on tour to spread your word?
I spread the word wherever I can find it. Like right now, we're spreading the word on the show. Like all of you who are in the chat, yeah. Baba David is open for sessions, right? So if you have any issues, you can just put them in the chat and I will answer them for you.
Okay, seriously, guys, though, what if this was a true, like somebody goes for help for, follows these types of people? Is that, how do you know?
Then they will be enlightened. Okay?
And they start calling themselves Archangel Michael.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So there's a Netflix series at the moment called Avoiding My Twin Flame. Has anybody seen it?
Yeah, you showed. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, it is so good. For everyone out there listening, I highly recommend you go on Netflix and put Avoiding the Twin Flame. It is so good. It's basically about this couple who started to pretend they were like godlike. The guy actually said he was reincarnated from Jesus. And he said if you join this course, which costs $222 a month, we'll find you your twin flame. And you only have one twin flame in your life. And they could be married or they could be with someone. So these people actually agreed to it. Thousands of people agreed to this, started signing up, and he used to just pick a twin flame, pretend one for them to go get. So they used to hunt people who were married. They used to message people who were married saying, "You're my twin flame. I found you on the internet." Like, it's absolutely fucking crazy. And all these twin flames, I'm not joking, there's must be 10,000s joined up to this. Crazy people trying to think that the twin flame is going to save their life. And that's a delusional how high it goes. That people
I would recommend that for people to go watch. That's actually a very interesting film.
And once you watch that, you might not want to use the term divine feminine and divine masculine anymore, because I used to use it. And then I watched that and it's like, oh, they've given it a whole other meaning. They've totally...
Laura, that's so sexist. I mean, that's not part of the light. There is no divine masculine, divine feminine. And it's not politically correct either. I can't stop now. And now you have to.
Now you're
I can't stop anymore.
You are so good at that, David. Worryingly good at it.
Yeah.
We've got a question here from Jerry.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Yeah.
How do we talk to suicide people? I've just talked to my sister and told her suicide is a cop out to go outside and appreciate the sun shining down the right way to help her. So how do we talk to suicide people?
Honestly, when you're dealing with someone who is suicidal, the first thing that you have to understand is that person is alone. The only reason now, this is at the root of suicide people. They are alone and they feel hopeless. So you're probably wondering how that person's world got squeezed down into this little shell, especially when they have family. So this is how it works. They're in a situation, and the situation might be self-loathing, as an example. And so what they're trying to do is get out of the situation, but they can't find their way out. So the things that cause people to have suicidal ideation are like a sense of worthlessness, a sense of hopelessness. The funny thing about suicidal people is that if you inject just a little bit of hope inside of them, then it starts to cancel out a lot of the suicidal ideation. So I have understood your advice when you say go outside and walk in the sunshine, but you need to drill down to why it is she has narrowed herself down into that little spectrum, right? And if you would just give me more information, I would have probably been able to walk you through that. But she's narrowed herself down and she feels alone. That's why she wants to exit this world, okay? Because there's not a lot holding people in this world. And so what you absolutely need to do is get into her perspective and see from her perspective that there is no way out for her. And so you give her some hope.
Beautiful.
I agree.
And there are I remember one time a session quite a while ago, and I had a session. Andrew brought me into a session, and we were both talking to this lady, and if she didn't have that session, she was going to kill herself. And I've never seen it severe. That she was basically saying, and what's going to happen if I do it tomorrow? What's going to happen if I do it tomorrow? It took 50 minutes to get through to her. Literally 50 minutes it took in the session to actually get her to listen to our advice. And this is why Andrew brought me in, so we could both start trying to slowly get into it. And it's quite like some of the levels of people, like I've seen it from like people who just say kind of threat, I'm going to kill myself, to the people who are content in killing themselves. And it is so hard to speak to them. So I completely agree, David, that giving them hope and that little bit of companionship is the best way to try and seed something into them. Because at some stages and some cases, you can't do anything but do that. There's no other way you can do it.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah.
Really good question.
It was, because honestly speaking, when people get into this kind of suicidal ideation and the hopelessness, it's hard for you to imagine. So as an example, let's say you have a lot going for you. You got friends, and we're not talking about fair weather friends. You got real friends that have your back. You probably got like the girlfriend or the boyfriend, depending on who you are, and you have a job, you got money coming in, and your life is comfortable. You have a lot going for you. There's a lot keeping you in this world. For people who are suicidal, all of these things they don't see as important. But a lot of these people, you know what, something as simple as sitting down next to them, not talking, just holding their hand and letting them know you are not alone in this world, can do a lot to talk somebody off the ledge. Okay, because that's what they need. I am not alone in my pain and suffering. You just need to hold their hand and let them know you're not alone. I'm here. Okay.
Yeah, giving them some human contact.
Correct. The same human contact that therapist Laura refused to give me because you're my mom. You're my mom. Go ahead.
That was funny.
Go sit over there.
That's great. That was great.
If you guys have any other questions, you can put them in the chat.
So we're going to take call-ins in a few moments. So if you do have questions, and what we'd like to get on is people with crazy stories. So if you have a crazy story you'd like to share with us, we're going to drop in the link for you to come onto the restream so you can speak to us live and share your stories to everyone. So we challenge you, everyone listening, share your crazy stories with us. And Joel, have we got the link? Yes.
Anyone else other than me done some crazy things?
I've done crazy.
Yeah, you've been like, you've done light worker crazy.
I'm trying
or
to
other
think
crazy.
Crazy situation for me. It was full on lost in the light, that all I wanted to do was heal everything, but actually start doing inner work on myself. I was such a zealot. I really, really was. Oh, we have Dawn just popped in, so we'll get Dawn on. Hello, Dawn.
There's Dawn.
Hey, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
Hello, welcome to the show. So have you got any crazy stories for us, Dawn?
I do.
Fire away.
There's some echoes, but hi. So I do.
I am.
So the first one is crazy drivers. There's a friend of mine that's got a store by a curb, and these drivers keep going over the curb, and they will tilt on this stump, and it's the craziest thing.
I didn't hear all of that. Sorry.
Say that again. It broke up. I think there's a bit of delay going on your side.
Yeah. And so this is car that goes over this curb, and it'll go on the stump.
Oh.
Yeah, there is. I'm not sure why. Anyway, so it tilts on the stump.
Crazy.
So do you want to take your video off, Dawn? That might make the connection a lot better. then if you can start again, just because it's been so choppy, we don't understand. So as soon as you turn the video off, just go again. So you just, there we go. So yeah, you should be okay now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback. So the other crazy that I've had is a persecution complex.
Persecution complex.
They're feeling like they're being spied on, they're being poisoned, there's someone breaking into their house, and how to deal with that. It's crazy.
I could do persecution complex. I could do.
Ooh. Is there more detail to that, Dawn?
Well, they saw this is crazy, but anyway, so there's residual powder that she sees in her HVAC system. She thinks that someone's stalking her, not only at her home but also at work, and that someone's out to kill her. And then, and I'm facing her, and I'm trying to inject logic into this behavior, and it's almost impossible because they're stuck in victim mentality.
So how did you deal with that?
So I dealt with it by suggesting she get an air quality control person there to inspect her HVAC, to install cameras and a good security system.
Which sounds very logical.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did she agree to that, or did she just keep going on and on about it?
She just kept going on and on about it.
Like David was doing.
What? I'm off the light. I'm off the light, okay?
Oh, wow. That's crazy. That is crazy.
What's your take on crazy then, Dawn? I think we've lost you.
Anyway, that's about it because this delay is pretty bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in,
Thank
Dawn.
you, Dawn.
Thanks, Dawn.
There we go. So we've got no one in wanting to come on. So come on, guys. I'm sure there's someone out there who wants to share a crazy story with us.
I just need to dial down my light because it's causing a delay.
It is causing a delay. Too much.
I need to up my light in here.
David, what causes that persecution complex?
People have a persecution complex because they have unhealed trauma 9 times out of 10 when they are young. So let's say you were bullied as a child and stuff like that. You have this idea that people don't like you. People don't want to interact with you in a normal way, right? And so because you have it in your head, the thing about the mind is that what is expected in the mind tends to be realized outside. The manifestation problem. Because whenever people talk about manifestation, oh, I manifest this and I manifest that. No, the truth of the matter is it goes both ways, on the good side and on the bad side. If you're expecting shit is coming your way. It may not be today, it may be tomorrow, right? But it's coming your way. And so when their shit gets realized, what happens is that they develop this idea that nothing good can happen to me, right? But I don't have that issue because I'm of the light. Yeah.
Can I ask you about something? And I don't know, this was in a movie, but Munchausen syndrome by proxy. That's not, that's more psychological, isn't it? That's more.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. It absolutely is. Now, most people tend to, by proxy, I don't like the word by proxy.
Yeah.
Okay? Because here's the thing, I don't like that word. By proxy suggests that you have an intermediary, right? Either you have Munchausen syndrome or you do not. Right?
Okay.
Right. By proxy suggests that there's an intermediary, and there's no intermediary in these kinds of situations. They're
But
absolutely.
isn't there a parent or a guardian putting that on to somebody? That was my understanding of it.
It is, but but it negates the concept of choice, huh? Now,
Even with a child.
there is a certain amount of agency that a child has, okay? Whether you realize it or not, it's actually a lot more than it was back in the 60s. So nowadays, children are making decisions about all sorts of things, okay? So to say that a child is completely without autonomy is actually not correct. If your child is born with a lot of fire in them, you will understand what independence is at a very early stage. They're not going to listen to you. So there's agency that is given to a child at a very early age. We would like to believe that free will, based on our society's expectations, starts at 18 years old. That's not true.
Yeah.
You think you could, let me ask you something. You think you could walk to a 5-year-old kid and tell him, well, Spider-Man isn't all that great? No, because no, Spider-Man is the shit. Okay?
Santa Claus isn't real.
Right.
That indicates a certain amount of agency, and children do make certain kinds of choices. It may not be, a child's mind is easier to manipulate, but it is not without restriction. Okay?
Yeah, but this is about a parent who says the child is sick, but it's really not. Correct?
Yes, but the child can accept whether or not.
Yeah, but that's
that reality.
But maybe they're accepting because it makes it an easier path. I've got first-hand experience of this, so maybe in what I've seen,
that in and of itself is a choice, because
it is
to make their lives more comfortable by accepting. But that's one of the easiest things to dismantle in an adult's mind. You know what Amy is describing, because the choice was not to be sick, okay, or to think that you're sick. The choice was to make my life comfortable by accepting an idea. Does that make sense?
Wow.
So that's like a survival mechanism, isn't it?
What is the purpose of the parent doing this to the child? What is
okay, let's role play this, shall we?
Oh man.
Right.
Go on, let's do this.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm the parent, right? I'm like, there are a number of reasons why they would do that. The first reason is that they don't want the child to grow up. And by continually breaking the child down into dependency, right? That child needs me. That child needs me. You're sick. You're sick, W. You're sick. Okay?
Yes. Especially if that's the younger child, say, of older siblings, is where I've noticed it.
People in my office who have breastfed their children until like 4 or 5 years old. Okay? All right?
What does that mean? Because I know someone who's done that.
Like, oh, you know so?
Yeah, I do actually. And I thought it was, at the time, I'm like, what? She crawls up under her shirt at 4 years old
and looks for the breast.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you do in that situation? I didn't do anything. I'm like, what is happening? Okay. Like, what is happening? It wasn't, sometimes it's just not your place to say anything because, you know.
But you get a lot of that. So people who do that, you get a lot of them have a lot of trauma they don't want to deal with. So they're always distracting and always trying to have the baby as some sort of comfort blanket for the reality. So the baby's always in bed with them, or always sucking on the nipple till they're 5 because of maybe being traumatized in the past, sexually abused. I've seen it firsthand that they use the baby as a form of coping mechanism. Then when the baby goes, they're going to have to find some other coping mechanism as well.
Yeah, because you guys got to understand something. Munchausen by proxy, as an example, when the parent who themselves is not loved, okay? Let's put it this way. Your child is the purest form of love that you can have. And I'll tell you why that is. Because when that baby is born and you look at that baby and that baby is completely dependent on you, the love that that baby gives you is pure.
Yeah.
You could go down the street and pick up some guy in a bar. You know that's not pure love, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Your friends, the love comes with conditionality, right? Don't be an asshole, and I love you. Okay. Right. Your family, that comes with even conditionality as well, right? If you're going to be a drug addict, get out of my house. Okay. And so that baby doesn't care whether you're a drug addict. That baby doesn't care what reputation you have, and so on. And so the parents try to lock the child into a codependent relationship with them so that, right, they can always have access to that pure feeling of love. And I'm like, yeah, not good.
Yeah. But wait, this is where I really just can't understand the Munchausen. Is because what makes her think, I don't know what clicks in them that makes them know that this can go on.
Surely that's part of the codependency, isn't it? Because if the person if the person let's say the parent putting it onto the child, excuse me, is like, you're ill, you can't go to school today. Therefore, that child is then home with the parent, fulfilling some of the needs of the parent. Because surely that with what we're talking about, I don't know if this is sort of about right, David, is we're talking about the parent needing that codependency from the child to fulfill their needs of lack.
Yeah. And the need is, I am needed. There are a lot of people in this world that are feeling an intense sense of uselessness. Okay? They're not good for anything. Nobody calls them for anything. Nobody relies on them. Nobody does anything with regard to them. Okay? But this thing is a sickness. And I say it's a sickness because they're literally handicapping their children specifically because of that. And we're seeing a whole bunch of the results of that in society today. You have people, grown adults, who have ingested this thinking that they are somehow inherently flawed and so on. When you do a comparison of childhood diseases between now and, let's say, the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, okay? Granted, there's a lot of more tripped up bacteria now than they were back then. The sturdiness of the people back then was different than now, okay? The only thing that makes us think we're more sturdy than our predecessors is because we have medicine, modern medicine. Okay? And that is a sickness on itself. When you decide that you're making somebody codependent on you. Horrible.
Yeah, horrible.
Then when you get that, you get the child growing up, then having a baby and doing it to them and passing on the ancestral karma over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless somewhere they make a choice to flip the frequencies.
Yes.
And that can happen too. And again, that's back to free will, isn't it? That's back to choice.
Wow.
It's interesting as well, like seeing a comparison of someone who, say, a baby who's born and put in a cot to a baby who's born, put on the nipple in the bed with the person constantly for years, to see the personalities, between both of them. That would be interesting, an experiment to see that. Because as young, I was put in a cot straight away, and I think I came off the nipple in like a year or less than a year or something like that. And just think the difference in personalities between someone who's been on for a year to 6 years, because I've seen it before, people breastfeeding at 6 and they're like getting grown and they're still sucking on the mother's teeth.
That is a very interesting discussion we're having, because a lot of the crazy that we're seeing, it is rooted in a lot of childhood issues. And the thing about it is that people don't realize that they're creating, like how a narcissist created, as an example. Let me tell you how they're created. Little Johnny grows up, sees his dad in control of his entire household. The mother is a supporting figure. Okay? All right? And so he has an idea in his head that this is basically how things are supposed to be. That's how you start creating narcissists, right? The woman has no agency in the house, right? And so he goes through this period, then he starts interacting with other people, and it's a thing in the human construct that if you have an idea and I have an idea, one of us must be wrong and one of us must be right. Especially when they're young, they don't have critical thinking on board. So obviously, if one of us is wrong and one of us is right, then you're the wrong one. You're the wrong one, right? Then you're the wrong one, and as a result of that, you don't know what you're talking about. That's how narcissists become made, right? Because the woman has no agency, and then he goes out into the dating world and he's trying to pick up some chick, but he needs to feed off of a chick that will not give him resistance.
That's why narcissists attract empaths, because empaths go in and think they can heal them.
Yes, because empaths figure that, I'm an empath. Well, they don't think that I'm an empath. They just think, I can feel how you're hurting. How can I help? Like
that was me. That was me. Yes.
Been there. I can feel how you're hurting. How can I help?
Yes, and I can love you better.
Well,
it didn't work. It didn't work.
Not realizing that man will fall in love with you not because of you. That man will fall in love with you because you have just replaced his mom.
What about those? I'd say there is narcissism in those people who want to be with people to fix them. Like you get with someone and you're like, oh, you're planning straight away how to fix them, how you can change their life. You're gonna bring them. You're gonna do this to them. They started half broken, and you're gonna fix them. That is pure narcissism as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of
there's ego in that.
Yes,
a lot of ego I had in that, and also you pick up, in order to survive, you pick up narcissistic ways. So in order to survive, I picked up like manipulation tactics because nothing else would work. So I would have to switch from crying or I won't say whining, but sort of being really tearful, to being angry, to being any way I could to get myself heard. And that's just narcissistic in itself. It's almost
Laura,
being a bit psycho.
I can't imagine you like the Laura now that I know.
You're the fox.
I'm thinking Laura would just say piss off, really, right?
I know, but then I was in survival and using every manipulation tactic I could to get what I needed out of the relationship. But it's only with hindsight you look back and see how you were and how you become very narcissistic within that relationship too.
Yes, because it's just defense at that point. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. There's a whole bunch of women in very bad situations all over the world who refuse to leave. They refuse to leave. And let me just say something to you guys. If you're listening to the show and you're thinking, that man is talking about me, isn't he? Yes, I'm talking about you. Right? So, if you are the kind of woman who is in a narcissistic relationship and you are not leaving, here's the reason why you're not leaving: because you're scared. There's no other reason. It's not because you love him. It's because you're scared.
But they also think that a baby will make everything better.
Oh, geez.
Right?
And then that's it. Then that's even more difficult.
That's even more difficult to leave.
And what about the worst advice ever I've heard and I was told is to be the grey rock. Okay, so the grey rock is you're not noticed. Right. Yeah. So talk about taking away your sovereignty and taking away your choices. You're just meant to blend in, yes, dear, no, dear, and all the rest. That is just, I'm sorry, but that advice is just so wrong, because you're not teaching somebody to be self-empowered and make their own choices. Mm-hmm. If at the end of the day you decide you are self-empowered and you're going to stay there and handle it, then okay, that's your choice. But it's also your choice to leave these narcissistic relationships, because you know what, you've got a whole life to live. You don't owe your life to that person. You owe your life to yourself. And it does take courage, but it can be the best thing for both of you. And also that often ends a karmic contract, because narcissism can also be, with an empath or not, can also be a karmic contract, like it was with myself. And there's another thing, David, Christina's brought up. Yes, I've experienced of that with a man whose mum actually beat him, but he still grew up, and his sister took the mickey out of him. So he had both his mum and his sister just being basically horrible to him as he grew up. But he still grew up into a narcissist with a form of entitlement and superiority. So how does that link up?
There are two kinds of psychological reactions that you have. I'm going to say the one where you kneel and accept, or the one where you compensate and get worse. Okay? So as an example, if I was beaten and told, you're nothing, you're absolutely nothing, right? You'll never amount to anything, then I develop the anti thing. I fight. And every day is going to be a fight for me. So I have to be the best. I have to be like that spiritual light worker that we talked to earlier on in the show, that spiritual guy who was talking about how he's full of light. Now everybody's thinking, you have a problem. Okay, right. So this guy, right, they feel like they have to be. And then there's the other ones that take it and ingest the fact that I am not worth anything. And they act like I am not worth anything. I can't do it. I can't do this. I can't do that. Everybody's against me. Nobody likes me, whatever the case may be. Here is the thing that you have to take into consideration, especially when it comes to human relationships. Okay. And I'll give you all a test for those of you all who are in relationships. Can I give you all a test?
We'll do.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. On the women's side, this is the test that you can run. And this is not a game. This is real talk. Okay. Ask the man that you're with the following question. X, or whatever the man's name is. What do you think about me? Ask him that question. What do you think about me? That's a nice vague ass question. That's a vague ass question. Okay. What does that mean? Here's what's going to happen. And I'm going to give you the results. If that man takes a very long time to answer you, if that man is like, well, that man has not thought about what he thinks about you. That means that you are in the recesses of his mind. Okay, that should not perplex anybody. If you ask me, if anybody on this panel asks me what I think about them, I am going to answer them straight. When somebody asks you what you think about, ask you, pretend that you're on the other side of that fence, and somebody asks you what you think about them. If you have to think about it, that means that person was not at the top of your mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. On the men's side, it should work the same way, right? Ask the woman, and I want this is a deep thing. This is a very deep thing. Look at the woman square in eyes. Square in eyes. Are you in love with me? Boom. Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. You see these questions and the way they are asked? Okay? That will tell you everything you need to know about where you are. If you do not accept the response and your intuition when that person has answered you or not answered you, as the case may be, then you are the problem. You are absolutely the problem. Okay? Because there are two different questions. When a woman asks a man, what do you think of me? Notice how I phrase that question. And Phrase it in the exact way that I gave it to you, please. Men tend to pride themselves on being cerebral, even though most of them are not. If a man cannot answer what he thinks about you, or he's taking too long and he's like, well, I think you're kind of cool, but no, if a man answers you like that, get GTFO. Okay? You look at a woman dead in her eyes because of woman's eyes are the windows to the soul, and you ask the woman, hey, are you in love with me? And the woman is like, ooh, well, let me think about that for a moment. I don't think about that for a moment because I need time to process. If she needs time if that woman needs time to process, GTFO, real talk. Okay, that is a very, very acid test that can save you a lot of time and effort. That's the acid test. And there's no way of the reason why I gave you this test, because when you do this test, there is no escape from that test. It is tapping you at a core level, right? Let me tell you something for the women out there who are in bad situations and you don't want to leave. The fear that you have means that you are surrendering your sovereignty. There's no other way to put that. You are on your knees.
Yeah.
Do not kneel to any man in this creation. Men do not kneel to any woman in this creation. Stand. No matter what the consequences are, stand. Because if you do not stand, what you are giving up for comfort is not worth it.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's hard because sometimes love does blind us. And that's one of the hardest things in relationship, when you're in love with someone and someone's so stuck in their own narcissism and probably only about 10% of them loves you as well. It's so hard because you deny it in your reality all times, and you just go from year to year denying it, seeing it, but denying it, continuing, because that love for them is going to keep you going. And that is a full zealot and martyr, which I've been as well. It's the hardest thing, being able to let go of the love and actually to see the point of view of what the truth is. So hard for people to do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agreed. And we've all been through this. Okay, most of us have been through this. There's been a few of us who are lucky to have met our high school sweetheart and married. Right?
Yeah.
Most of us have been through the trials and tribulations of relationships, business, and so on. And it works in families too, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It works in families too, because like children are not quite sure that their parents love them. Okay? Because a lot of parents tend to think that if I'm providing for you and doing the things that I need to do, in terms of you got your school books, you got your clothes, you got your food to eat and stuff like that, then obviously I love you. If you think that that is what love is, what is the expressions of love? I believe it was acts of service. And you think that's all there is, please understand that you're dealing with someone. A child does not consider acts of service as an expression of love. I'm going to repeat that 3 times for the guys in the back. A young child does not consider acts of service as expressions of love. They're never going to. Okay? You got to pick up that child and hug up that child, okay? Really, you do.
Yep.
Displays of affection when they are children apply. Acts of service do not apply. You ever see a child says, well, you paid my school fees, so therefore you must love. No child ever said that. No child, they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah,
The only way that works is if I want a fire truck for Christmas and you buy it for me, I love you, mommy. But then that's
Yeah.
parasitical, and that only goes so far.
Yes. They use that.
Mm.
Parents use that. Santa's watching. Santa's
Oh,
watching.
yes. Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Be on the
And
naughty
that's how
list.
you teach. That's how you teach narcissists to play with people's emotions. By the way, Santa's
Right.
watching, and if you don't,
Naughty or
and if
nice.
you don't behave, he's not gonna get that red fire truck for Christmas. And
But
then the
you know,
girl is like, shit.
I've seen this played out. The kids know the parents by now, and they know that they're going to get the red fire truck no matter what they do, because the parents can't not give it to them. That's another problem in itself.
Because they paint themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
Can you imagine saying, I know you want that red fire truck, but yo, if you don't clean that room, you're not getting that red fire truck.
Right?
Yo.
So it's
Yeah.
go on, Amy.
No, I was just going to say, and they don't clean the room, they're still going to get it. They know the game. Like, it's a total game. Yeah, go ahead.
So is narcissism a cause of a lot of the craziness in the world, David, at the moment? It's a crazy world out there.
Yes, because people are suffering from different kinds of trauma from childhood. A lot of parents think that they're doing their job when they're building narcissists. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
They're building narcissists. If you are in the house where traditional roles are established, right, and the father is like, I wear the pants in the house, right, and the father has a compensation because his father before him had a bunch of issues going on, transferred them to him, and he doesn't have the self. I honestly, listen, in the Catholic Church, not that, I know anything about the Catholic Church now. Before you became married, you had to go to a period of counseling. Do they still do that?
I don't know. I did.
Yes,
that.
I think we do. Yeah.
Before you have
did.
children, you should get counseled. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't screw things up for the rest of us who have to deal with your kids. Okay.
I remember that when we were about to get married, my ex wife, and we were going around different places to get married, and a family were very Catholic, and they were pushing on us to get married in a Catholic church. So we decided to say yes to a meeting, but just a meeting. And we got there, and the vicar was like one of the creepiest looking persons. Like straight away, I felt a bit sick next to him. And he was giving us marriage counselling. He'd never been married, or I think in Catholic church you can't have sex, and he was there counselling us. And there was a picture of St. John, the Pope. I can't remember what Benedict, his name was, bit by the side of him, and I was creeped out by him and the guy behind him. I was like, I feel weird.
You are in the man's counseling session, feeling all creeped out, looking at the picture on the wall, like, you can't give me marriage advice. No, you can't.
Yeah.
I think. Listen, if you're going to have children and you want to do it the right way, this is what you need to do. For those of you who give a shit about what this strange man on your computer screen has to say, get a piece of paper and a pen, write down your shit, okay? And I mean all the shit that hurts you, all the stuff that really has hurt you in life, or the things that you keeping back. And you have, if you are pregnant today, you have 9 months to correct most of them. Okay.
I like that.
Heal with that baby in your womb so that the baby can experience your healing and your releases. Because trust me when I tell you, trauma is not only transferred by me talking to you or me interacting with you. Trauma is also transferred in the blood. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And so when you are sharing, let's put it, a hosting system. Let me check term. When you're sharing hosting with a child, and in your pregnancy, you are in bitter fights with your loved one and so on, and everybody's against you. And you expect that child is going to come out okay. You're hoping for too much. You're teaching that child from the time you got pregnant. Absolutely. Which is a problem. People are, oh, by the way, there's something that we need to cover. There's a whole bunch of people online talking about they throw psychological terms around and they usually don't know what they're talking about. Narcissism is a specific kind of behavior, okay? It's that I am in control. I think a lot of myself, and that's why I deserve to be in control. That's narcissism. Narcissism, yes, narcissism is not when somebody corrects you. Like, oh, look, I put the garbage just outside the house. Dear, could you please put it in the garbage bin by the side of the road so it could get collected? Oh, you're a narcissist. That is not control. That is not narcissism. When somebody corrects you, especially when somebody is correcting you in love, okay? And there's a big difference. And people like to throw these words around. Oh, she's a narcissist. She wants me to throw the garbage by the road. Why can't I just do it my way? You can't do it your way because your way is the wrong way because it's already collected and your house will smell.
Competition as well in a relationship, that's a hard one. When you say you want to do something, competition with you, like everything's a competition, like constantly. That's a tough one as well.
Yeah, that's the narcissist side, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Can you imagine you're in a relationship and it's like mine's bigger.
Yes. So this is interesting from Sam. So she says she's noticed parents working so much now that they don't correct their children's bad behavior. The children are in charge of the parents. And I get that, but there is like another angle to that again, the children are in survival and they will go through every motion they can because they're not getting the attention of the parents because they're at work so much that they are reduced to having to behave like that in order to get some sort of attention. But there must be much more than that, David.
Children act out because they're taught to act out. In today's society, our idea of parenting has changed dramatically, where it used to be that you restricted your children when they went down certain roads of self-sabotaging or destructive behavior. There's a social issue going on right now where parents are letting children be children, okay? But that is a cop-out, and we've known this for many, many years. Oh, I'm just going to let my child be their child, be himself. No, what you mean is you're too lazy to parent, and as a result of that, you're not taking active part in disciplining your own child, right? And the problem with this social phenomenon that's going on is that we see it in the children growing up nowadays, okay? Amy brought up the whole Munchausen by proxy. So let me explain something to you. The children that you see nowadays is not like us. They're not like us at all. Okay? How many of us fell out of trees and got back up and just kept on trucking? I know I did.
Yeah.
How many of us fell out of trees and got back up? We didn't get dosed with antibiotics, all right? and laid up in a house for how many? You couldn't keep us in the house, right? If you fell down and you scraped your knee and so on, you're not even going home because they're going to keep you inside, right?
Right.
These are not the children that we're looking at right now. We're looking at a phenomenon where, like, I see it. Look, there are a few things that is very bad for children. Children growing up in inner cities, growing up in apartment blocks and buildings, that is never a good idea. Okay? So even if you grow up, even if you can't afford to buy a house or whatever the case may be, or you just don't want to buy a house because you live in a place where housing is expensive or whatever the case may be, take your children out to the park. Absolutely. Make that a priority. These things play on a child's mind. Because if you put rats in a cage, they will act out. They will kill each other.
And so for Lillian, who says, so how can we heal things for these children? Me personally, the best thing you can do with children is having fun and making sure you actually have fun, where you're exploring something they want to do and they want to have fun with, and you allow yourself to laugh with them, and then make those moments happen twice a week. Take them out, spend time with them, listen to them, make them feel special. But then there comes a flip side where you have to have some sort of responsibility where they're not on they're on the phone. They're allowed freedom. They're allowed the phone, but there has to be a cut-off time where they turn it off, and you have to engage them winding down. All of those things are very. If you're not, you have to be responsible for them, because it can fuck children up. Like anxiety, they're on the phone before they go to bed. They can actually not develop very well because they can't actually sleep naturally anymore. So these are little things you can do with them, but you've got to make it fun. Have a laugh with them, and they've got to see you actually doing work on yourself, where you're actually healing, looking after yourself. You're balanced as much as you possibly can be. They will look to that and see that as inspiration, and grow up to be one of these people who want to do work on themselves, or want to exercise, or get out, enjoy life. So we are pretty much, it's all up to the parents. You have ancestral responsibility, and you are avoiding it if you're not allowing yourself to have fun. You're not allowing yourself to check in what they're watching on telly, what they're looking, searching on the website. That's important, because you need to know what's in your child's mind. It's your responsibility. And some lazy ass parents just let them do what they want to do, allowed to go on every single device till 10 o'clock at night. They don't sleep. They're on the device again at 2 a.m. The parenting's changed so much. That's a classic parenting now. It's just letting them do what the fuck they want to do. And it's creating children who don't have any work ethic, no discipline, no schedule, and they come to having a job and they just can't go to work because they're just, how the fuck, no one's taught me this discipline wise, and so on. And this is from experience as well.
They're getting that dopamine release from the time online, aren't they? And I see it like in my youngest grandchild who's 6, so he only gets a limited amount of time online, and he stayed with me the other night. And he was online, and it's difficult to get their attention, obviously, when they're doing a game or something. And I said, darling, Grandma and your daddy, we didn't have games like that when we were little. And he turned around to me. Excuse me. He turned around to me and he said, I don't care. Like, what do you do with that? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that parents miss out on, is letting their children see them make mistakes and redeem those mistakes by apology.
Yes.
All right, by apology and like by restitution. Like the average person doesn't know, like the average grown adult parent, and believe me, I have usually, every time I have people in an office situation, I ask them, do you know the elements of an apology? And I'm like, a lot of people don't. So for those of us who are in the cheap seats, let me explain to you the elements of an apology. The first part of an apology, and there are 4 parts, if I remember them correctly, let me see, is I am sorry. Number 1, say it. Say it. Say it. It's the foundation of accountability. I am sorry. I won't do it again. That's number 2. I will not repeat the action. That would be number 2. The third action is what can I do to make this better? Okay. What can I do to fix this? The 4th thing is I am going to make sure for myself that I remember. I will remind myself that I have made that mistake. You see, when somebody hears that from you, how that hits different, as opposed to saying, oh, wow, I did some real messed up shit to you. Sorry about that. Yo, no, I am sorry that I did this to you. Okay? That is never, never, never going to happen again. Okay? What can I do to make this better? Because I know I've hurt you. And the fourth thing is I'm going to make it a priority to make sure that I remind myself never to do this shit again.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
That hits different.
Well, that's something I grew up with. When my dad did something, he never apologized and just put it under the rug, didn't say anything. Then it would just like everything you said, he wouldn't let you speak in that way. And that's the way he was brought up. So that is so important, David, actually owning up for your mistakes. And I remember I had a conversation with my son, Marley, that I did something. There was like a speeding ticket I got. And I remember saying to him, he goes, "Did you get that speeding ticket?" And I said, "Yeah." And I've learned from that mistake that I'm never going to go that fast again, because I realized it was a silly mistake and I've learned from it. And I was actually happy to tell him about my mistakes and like about my life where I've made a wrong decision. And from hindsight, that wasn't the best decision for me. So honesty is so important with them. And that's beautiful, David, way it's so important to do that. That they know you're human and you make mistakes and you try your best to be a better person each day. And that's the way we have to be.
And I think the other thing is like when parents are arguing, one is to try not to do it in front of the children. But I think what happens is some way you've got to be able to clear all that psychic shit that you've created through the argument, because children absolutely are psychic sponges for all that, which can create bad dreams and bad behavior and things like that. So if you're going to argue, maybe discuss respectfully and teach the children how to do that rather than a full-on screaming match. Because I grew up in that sort of atmosphere, and it's really difficult for a child to comprehend what's going on, and they do absorb it, and it does affect them later on. We think it doesn't, but it does. And we have to be responsible like that in how we behave in front of our children related to that.
And that's part of the competition thing that Dale said, because let's say you're in a relationship with someone and there's an argument. People just want to win the argument. They want the prime directive. The prime directive is, you are my friend, I love you. They lose sight of that to, I just need to win this argument. Because if you start from the position as, you're my friend, I love you, let's work this out.
Yeah.
It works differently, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, you can take away all the charge and polarity with that.
For sure.
And not getting sucked in, because I've had it where I've got sucked into an argument and I was about to argue back and I started doing it. I'm like, I stopped myself and I was like, fuck. I was like, no, stop, walk away. And all I did was stop and walk away, turn around, go upstairs, take a half an hour just to be by myself. And that's something I learned that helped me a hell of a lot from my light worker days when I used to have arguments and stuff like that. Now before I go into that state where I get pissed off, I just walk away and go regain my own energy. Don't say anything nasty to them. Just walk away. And that was the hardest on my ego, learning to do that. When I used to first do it, it used to really hurt my ego and it was horrible. But now I'm so used to it. And this is for everyone out there. If you're going to get into an argument, know you've got a choice to walk away. And if you walk away, that's going to be the best choice for you, because arguing is not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to create, like Laura said, more pollution in your environment.
And you can choose peace.
Yes.
It's the thing to remember always. You can choose peace.
Or you can just say, understood.
That's full on.
Yes.
Right?
What's the word?
Poof? No.
A codependency. That would be such a codependent person, that, wouldn't it? Understood, sir. Understood, love.
Understood.
Where's my dinner? Where is it? So, guys, we're going to wrap this up now. So, how can people get a hold of you, Laura Massey?
Laura2feathers@gmail.com. That's with the number 2. And I'm happy to do individual sessions in shamanic self-mastery through shamanic practices, take you to your ancestral fire. I'm an ancestral medium. And also we have a couple of slots left for combined healing therapies in York in January, and both Andrew, David, and Amy will be there. So it's going to be very exciting. So thanks, guys.
Wonderful. Amy?
Yes. Oh, okay. So I have a show called Unscripted. It's like a 20-minute show where now it's starting to change a little bit, where I can bring people on, interview them, talk about pop culture. We've been doing that recently. And I'm also the administrator at the UCM Community. And yes, so sign up over there in the Heartbeat app. David's boss. No, only kidding.
Here's my boss.
No. So there's a lot of information over there. We've been doing the AI movers. What is it called? We've been doing the AI webinar.
I don't know. You're the admin.
You've been teaching it. You and Andrew have been teaching it. So that'll be coming up again. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Amy. David.
Hi, everybody. Once again, you could book with me. I'm a psychotherapist, a hypnotherapist, a nutritionist, and a few other things. But what we're doing right now is providing software solutions to people who are in the community that have businesses and so on. If you are that person and your business is at a snag, you can't get clients, and the social media platforms are screwing you over, we have solutions for you. So join the UCM community or join in our webinars, which are on hold right now because we released about 3 different software programs. We released stuff that is free for you to use that will enable your business to actually prosper. Other than that, you can contact me at info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. Okay? Or you can just see me in the UCM community where the administrator will let you in.
Yes.
So thanks, David. So if anybody feels in a bad place or in the dark night of the soul, head over to daletobin.com and book a session with me. I offer psychic surgery and soul surgery, which also includes ancestral medium work, helping people remap their own roadmap back to the grandmothers. So thank you, everyone, and good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.